Hey, Sammy. What's on your face?
Oh, well, you see, it's because of this podcast we're about to film. Working in the service industry comes with a lot of problems and difficulties, but I do love my job, and I'd hate to get in trouble for it.
All right, well, that's understandable. Can you give me my drink, please?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Hi, I'm Taylor.
And I'm Sammy.
And this is Less Than a Half. No Pants Podcast. Number 2. Episode 2. We have guests this time.
Yeah, there are people here between us.
This is Karen.
Hello.
And we're not telling you her last name.
This is Rachel.
That's Rachel. Hi. We'll bleep it out or something. Anyway, today we're going to talk about something near and dear to all of our hearts. Customer service problems. We, at one point, have all worked somewhere together. I won't say where. Anyways. And we've had a lot of shared experiences and a lot of bonding through trauma and, normal stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So today we're going to be talking about all those little moments in between that make working in the service industry just such a fun and exciting experience.
Yes. All right. Sammy, you want to pop us off with some stories and start us up?
Can I start us up with something like not complaining and kind of cheesy?
Yeah.
Okay, there are these two regulars at the location where I work, and they're like my favorite customers ever because they like never complain, they put in their orders, and they wait patiently, and they're really understanding with us. And I think they've been my regulars, I think, for 3 years now. And I've always tried to build a connection with them because they're so quiet and it's almost impossible. I remember one time asking the husband, being like, hey, what do you guys do for a living? He just kind of looked at me and was like, why? And I was like, well, I realized we see you guys a lot and we don't really know anything about you. And he goes, oh, well, you know, she works here and I work there. And that was the end of the conversation. And then eventually I left that place and then came back. And when I first saw them, I got really excited because they were one of the customers I was the saddest to leave. And at one point, I realized and found out that they had a baby together that none of us knew about.
I knew about it.
Oh.
I saw them at the grocery store.
Oh.
That's cheating. I did think she was pregnant, though, because she stopped showing up after a little tiny bump.
Oh, that's cool. But so she mentioned that they had a baby, and then a couple of nights later, I was doing something, and I saw that he had walked in, and I went out there just to say hi and see how he was doing, and he was like, hey, have you seen our baby? And I was like, no. And he was like, do you want to see pictures on him?
Aww.
And I was like, yes! And like I'm sitting there and he's like showing me pictures and I'm like tearing up because I worked so hard to build this relationship, and then he offered to show me, and that's just something that's been really, it was fun. So that's the cheery,
it's not
fun
always
story.
bad.
Yeah, it's not always bad.
There are tons. What's that one lady? She always gets she'd get a very complicated beverage in the morning, but she's super nice. And
Buffy.
Yes. And so if we're saying nice things, it's probably safe to say that. But she is like so pleasant.
She's from the National Guard.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Ooh. Yeah. No.
She showed up in her fatigues one time and we were like,
what? Is that the one that would she'd bring us pizza sometimes and put it through the window?
yeah, and like a lot of soft drinks and stuff.
So nice. Like I handed her drink, she's like, Coca-Cola? I was like, yes, thank you. So there are nice things. So now to talk shit about people.
Nitty-gritty.
I'm going to share one of my first experiences. It was my first normal job that wasn't babysitting or whatever. I was 18. Where I was just babysitter, dog walker, help clean houses or something. Anyways, my first job was at Home Depot. I don't mind sharing because I loved Home Depot. I loved working there. I loved all my coworkers. I liked most of our customers. I didn't realize how terrible a lot of men, not all obviously, but a lot of men, they're bad at shopping. I didn't realize until I worked at Home Depot. They would like come in, and it kind of felt like they wanted you to like hold your hand and point to things as you shopped. Is the vibe I got, because they'd like walk in, not read any aisle signs, make a beeline to me at Register 3, which at Home Depot, you, at least like when I worked there, you could literally not be more than, I think it was like 30 feet from your register, because like it wasn't that hard to get into, honestly. Sorry. I know like you do need a code and stuff like that, and it's bolted down so you can't just like grab it and run. But anyways, we weren't allowed to go too far. Like that's why we have aisle workers. That way, if you need help. Oh no. Anyways, and we have like walkie-talkies. So we're like, this person needs help. They're heading to aisle 3. Like help them. And anyways, this I was always on aisle 3. I'll skip past the story. So this guy, I'd been there for like 2.5 months, and I was always on Register 3, which had the two self-checkouts, which also no one knows how to use. That was me. So you have a screen to help manage the self-checkouts, and it like alerts you if someone needs help. So you can walk around and be like, "Oh yeah, can I help you?" And just like that, and because you know how pleasant I am. Well, to customers. Anyways, this guy came up, and someone can come up to my aisle, and I can check them out as well. And I was the only register open, which would happen a lot because I technically it was a way to keep 5 registers open simultaneously just with me. And so, anyways, this guy comes up, and he has like a ridiculous amount of 2x4s. And so, when you work at Home Depot, anyone that goes in there, you can tell the difference between like treated wood and just normal 2x4s. Treated wood, like it's like a green tint. It has a different label on it. It smells weird, and it's just a totally different product. It's also like labeled differently. And then we have the cheap 2x4s in the very front of everything. So this guy comes up. He has like 20 cheap ones and the 20 expensive treated wood. They're very different. And the rule there is, at the time, I think it was if there's more than 10 of the same item, you had to go through individually and scan them with a little scanning gun. So he comes up to me, because I'm the only register open, and you can't do self-checkout with like a bunch of lumber. So he comes up to me, and I have the little scanning gun. And I start scanning each individual one, because they're all mixed up and stuff too. They look imagine just like a normal piece of wood and then like this green, weird smelling wood. It's very clear that they're 2 different things. And they have different tags with different colors, etc. And so I'm like scanning each one, and he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Scanning?" And I was like, "No, is something wrong?" And he was like, "They're all the same. Just put in 40. And then scan," and he pulls off one of the cheap ones and shows it to me. And I was like, I hopefully control my face more than that. I was like, "Sir, they're not the same." I was like, "These are 2 very different things." And I said, "These are like nearly twice the price. I have to scan them separately. Listen here, they're all the same." And I was like, "No." I was like, "They're not." And I said, "Sir, if you read it, it says treated lumber, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "This is the normal 2x4. I like watched him get the cheap ones and then go deep into the aisle to get the treated ones. I was like, "I saw you. I'm the only one here." I didn't say all that. But I was like, he kind of and I went back and forth. And I was like, "You know what? Maybe you're right, sir. I'll call my manager and he can help me." Like, I was just like, I'm an idiot, silly goose. So I called the manager on the walkie-talkie, and I was like, "I just need help, blah, blah, blah. I might be confused," like pretending like, "Oh, I'm so dumb.
I'm just a woman.
I'm just a silly girl." Yeah.
I don't know what lumber is.
Yeah, what is wood? And so the manager comes over, and I think it's Joe, and he's this like really funny guy, like long white hair, they always kept a ponytail and a powerful mustache, and I just loved him. And he comes up and he's like, "How can I help you? What seems to be going on?" And the guy gets like so angry because he's clearly about to get caught trying to steal from us. And he goes, "This fucking bitch." And I was like, "That's me." And Joe was kind of like immediately like, "Okay, like what happened?" He was, and Joe goes, "Oh, sir, there's no need to cuss. Like, let's calm down." He was like, "She just won't ring me up. I don't even want this lumber anymore." And Joe was like, kind of like Joe. He wasn't the manager. He was kind of like, "I don't really care," internally, but he was just like, "I'm sorry, sir. What seems to be the problem?" She's scanning each individual item, and Joe's just kind of like, "Yep." That's, what else? And he was like, they're all the same. And Joe's like, and just takes the thing off. He's like, no, they're not. He was like, just honestly, sincerely, like, confused. He's like, he was like, so this is treated lumber. He's like, well, I don't want treated lumber. And Joe's like, had the same burning question, why did you get it then? And so he walks back. Joe walks him back. He's like, well, if you don't want it, I'll help you unload it. Like, Joe's like, okay, bitch. And so he's like, fine. And so he goes back, unloads the lumber, and the guy apparently later on, the guy tells Joe, like, I don't need help anymore. I'm just going to go. Just is like, okay, that's fine. Walks off like, Jesus. And the guy is back there for like 10 minutes. And now there's no normal 2x4s. It's just treated lumber, and he's holding the cheap tag. And he's like, they're all the same. And I said, yep. And so I start scanning them each individually again, and he calls me a bitch again. And when I'm like, sir, I can't offer you that at the cheap price. I'm sorry, I just can't. And I said it's going to throw off our inventory. It's like twice as expensive. I'm just being like trying to use logic, but you can't with some people.
No.
And anyways, he's like, you know what? Fuck it. And then just walks out and leaves all his treated lumber. And that was the first time I got called a bitch multiple times while working. Yep.
To come back and try it again somehow, that's just...
He's like, this'll fool him.
Yeah, I got him this time.
Yeah, I was like, that's worse.
I thought you were about to say he took the tags off of all of the treated numbers and was like, they fell off.
That might have been smarter, because I probably, like, lazy ass me, probably been like, oh, whatever. Clickety-click. But I was just like, it's clearly not the same. And I was like, there's not going to be an excuse. Like, you could do a better job of fooling me at least.
Yeah.
On the second quick story at Home Depot, we had to have, on a receipt, there was like this thing that was like, fill out this questionnaire and you might win blah, blah, blah. And so we had to say that to every single customer. So keep in mind, I had to say that like 200 times a day. I didn't want to, I was tired of it too. This woman comes in, I've seen her like 3 times that week because she's getting stuff. I think she's like repainting her house because she came in there often. And like the 3rd time she comes in, she's like, I said, and if you fill out this survey, blah, 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 blah. And then she goes, I'm so sick and tired of hearing about this survey. No one wins it. And goes on this rampage, and I'm standing there kind of like, I just have to say that. So which it didn't hurt, but she balls up the receipt and throws it at my face. And it just, boink, just falls. And I was like in shock because I never had like an item thrown at my face by a customer. And it didn't hurt, but I was kind of like, and Party wants to laugh because it's just, and she's like, I'm sick of it, and storms out. And who was it? I think it was Kim, who was like so much fun to work with. But Kim came over and she's like, did you just throw a receipt at you? And I was like, yeah. She was like, I don't even have like my camera. She's like, it wasn't ready. I was like, yeah. So that's it was weird experiences at Home Depot. I like my coworkers, and it was a good company to work for, but a couple customers
Very
are interesting. Yeah. Anyways, you want to share some of your experiences? I don't
Got any good ones?
I don't have any.
Just none. Everything was done.
I just
Oh,
got
great.
I definitely don't have them written on the back of my cup here.
Yeah,
Definitely
not prepared at all.
Most recently, I was working at my store, and it's just a generic store. And every time a customer walks in, we have to ask them how they're doing. We have to ask them if they need any assistance, and we have to give them a sales flyer, which a lot of people get really upset about the sales flyer because we literally like run through the store and follow them and make sure they get a sales flyer because we get secret shoppers, and if they don't get a sales flyer, we get in trouble for it if they are a secret shopper. But anyway, I'm standing right next to the door, like maybe 10 feet from the door, and this lady walks in, and I'm like, hi, how are you? And she's like, and I'm like, okay, great, do you need any help out? And she goes, she just stops dead in her tracks. And she goes, I just got here. And I said, yes. I'm like, would you like any help out today? And she goes, but I just got here. And I'm like, okay, do you need assistance around the store? And she just like shakes her head at me and walks away. And eventually she goes and checks out, and after she leaves, my coworker comes up to me and she goes, so she said that you asked her to leave the store as soon as she walked in. And so now I can't ask people, do you want any help out? I have to be like, would you like assistance today? Or I have to just word it differently because
People
I
are
don't want to run into that again.
That's so dumb.
Oh, she was also a cat person, so that also that's something.
Listen.
Whoa.
You're surrounded by cat people
Offended.
right now.
That's not true.
I mean,
She is a dog person.
Obviously, Karen is a dog person. Yeah.
Personality-wise, I am a cat, but I
Yeah.
like dogs.
Yeah.
This she got all 3 cans of cat food and freaked out and left. So don't be that lady.
That's insane. That's the people like that. I feel like try to be offended by stuff. I feel like
I honestly think she was just like there were no lights on in her behind her eyes.
Yeah.
She's just like what words?
Yeah.
I know.
Okay,
Like she left her 27.
Get
cats.
out.
What?
She left her 27 cats for the first time in months.
Yeah.
She forgot how words work.
Yeah.
Probably.
Human interaction.
It's true.
Bless her heart.
Do you want me to go through my other 27 numbers?
Cat?
Or do we want to pass it?
Yes.
We pass it to me.
Karen, do you have a story for us? Anything you want to share? Karen.
Unrelated.
Sharon
There's
is Karen.
a dumpster downtown that's tagged with the word Sharon is Karen.
That's amazing.
true.
Did you get a picture of it?
I did.
Kate did too, and she said,
We were there together randomly. We all took the picture.
I love it. That's the kind of graffiti.
I wasn't
support.
sure if I should be like happy that she thought of me or offended that she thought of me because of a dumpster. I was like,
We're flattered.
It's because your name was there, not because of the dumpster. Unless, never mind.
"That's Rachel. Should I leave?"
You can.
I mean,
Walking away.
I can help you out.
Just got here.
Rachel's great at helping people out.
I am. Yeah.
I had one situation where someone asked for a sandwich that it was a breakfast sandwich and it was made with turkey bacon. So like the bacon itself was turkey.
Oh.
And so customer orders that and says, but with no bacon. I'm like, oh, okay. Give it to them. About 5 minutes later, they come back in and they're like, oh, there's no turkey on my sandwich. And I was like, you said no bacon. And I had to explain what turkey bacon is.
Wow.
And how it's both turkey and bacon at the same time.
Yeah. It's simultaneous.
Some sad transmutation item.
Yeah.
But so she's like, oh well, then I guess I want it on there. And unfortunately,
It's
the
gone
one
now.
she had gotten was the last one we had.
Oh no.
So no, yeah, she wasn't very happy about that.
Yeah.
No. But
I
it
mean, in
was-
her defense,
I was like, man, we have better sandwiches. Like, have you had the chorizo?
man, the world has tastier food.
Yeah. Also, there's a McDonald's like right there.
There you go.
So much.
they don't have turkey bacon. They don't have that cut of meat.
You're right. I want to go to McDonald's and ask for a sausage biscuit and be like, but no sausage, please. You just want biscuit? Yes.
Where's the meat?
Yeah. Where's the meat
My
go?
sausage go?
Okay. I want to talk about the time. The only time I got written up at the place we work. Do you remember? You weren't in charge quite yet. It was still Justin was still ASM.
I was ASM before he was.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I think
you
I
were in
was.
charge.
Yeah.
My bad.
To be
No.
fair, it was a mess for everybody involved.
That's true. And I remember calling Justin after I met. Anyways, I'll jump ahead. So, this bitch. Here's what people don't understand. When you're rude to people in the customer service industry, especially if it's a chain, you become a joke for everyone in that district because, like, we all know each other.
Yes.
So you become just a meme within, like, the district of stores. Like, people, because, like, especially the way we're set up, you can work at any location. And I told people, and it became just a joke for like multiple stores. So just be nice, and you won't be made fun of behind your back by like 50 people.
Just be nice.
That also.
You don't need a motive.
Listen, they do.
I mean, you'll still make fun of the people who are like, can I get that at kids' temperature? I don't know, are you a child? I mean, we still make fun of the nice people.
Sometimes you want to drink it immediately, though. Just throw it back. So I can justify that.
That's what my thing. I was like, if someone's polite, I'm automatically gonna like find them way less. Like whatever they ask is gonna be way less annoying to me. If you're like just a decent person, I don't care. I'll do it. It doesn't bother me. But this woman, it was just Savannah, not Savannah Pickney. Yeah. It was like her second or third day at shift.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like Snow White. She's like the nicest person. Birds help her get dressed in the morning. Truly.
So sweet.
She's so nice. She's like a small bean.
She's got such thick skin.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Nothing phases that queen. Anyways, so she's like, it's like her maybe second, third day as a shift manager. And she's in the back doing shift responsibilities. And so it's just me and one other person on the floor. And it's not that crazy. It wasn't like insanely busy. We were managing just fine. And this woman comes up to the drive-through, and she basically, she orders. It was around Christmas because they had the
Red cups.
yeah. But the drink she ordered, I feel like people are like, we know where you work.
Oh,
yeah.
Where did we?
Yeah. Where is it? Yeah. She like orders a seasonal beverage, and like I had made different variations of that drink. I don't know, like 50 times so far that day. No one complained. It's not a hard drink to make. Anyways, so she orders it as a latte. I want the caramel brulee latte, and I say, oh, okay, hot or iced, because you have to specify. And so, and she goes, hot. Keep in mind, we all have a certain form of communication on where everyone can hear the order went through a drive-through. So everyone, I had backup that also heard it to justify what I was saying. And so I was like, okay, great. And so she pulls around, and she pulls up. It's like a minute later, her drink's ready, and she pays. The other person goes to hand her the beverage, the person on drive-through, and she goes, that's not what I ordered. And he looks at it kind of like, I think it is. And he was like, a caramel brulee latte? She said, yeah, I wanted it iced. It's not what hot means, but okay. And so he comes, I can like hear the interaction, so I'm already like rolling my eyes. I'm not looking at her, so I can do that. I'm facing away from her. And he comes up, and he's kind of like, oh shit, because he's the messenger. And he's like, hey Taylor. And I was like, I know, it's fine. And I was like, well, just remake it. It's not the end of the world. So I like dump it and just throw the cup away and make her an ice version. Thank you. So I make the drink an ice version. He goes to hand it off to her, like, there you go. And she's like, that's not what I wanted. And he was kind of like, you could tell, like, even he was kind of like what's happening right now?
Wait a minute.
Like, very confused. And he was like, he even goes as far as to be like, oh man, this is an iced caramel brulee latte. And like, I see. And she was just like, I wanted it blended. And he goes, oh, did you want a frappuccino? And she said, like, as if she's confused. First of all, who doesn't know what a frappuccino is? I'm very confused.
Even if you're going to be that person and call it a frappe, like, you know.
You know what it is.
Mm-hmm. You know it's not a latte.
Yeah, and it's not hot. Anyways.
I get all my frappuccinos hot.
Yeah.
What you're talking about.
I want you to melt it. Can you put it in the oven?
You have a microwave?
Yeah. Can you microwave this? Anyways, so he like comes over to me, bless his heart. He's just like, hey Taylor, and I was like, what? And he was like, she wants a frappuccino, and I was kind of like, of course she does. And so I go over there. I don't make any eye contact with her because I will give her a dirty look. I know myself, so I just like don't look at her. And so I start making it, and we have other orders coming in. And so while it's I make it and set it, and I said, hey, can you finish that up for me? And he's like, sure. And so I go make a couple other drinks, and then more orders come in, so he gets busy, which is totally understandable. And I go, and I look over, and it's not being blended or anything yet. And I was like, oh shit, she's like sitting there waiting. And so I walk over, I didn't realize he had added ice to it, so I added more ice. That's my fault. And so it comes out blended. It's really thick. Totally my fault. And so I go to pour it, and it won't pour. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, we're already so behind. And so I go, and it just sloshes all over me. And I was like, and like all over the counter, and I was like, okay. And I like tossed it in the trash can, and oh, the paper's dropped. Anyway, I tossed it in the trash can, and I was just like, just covered in it. And so I remake the whole drink. I'm just gonna focus on making this drink. And I am irritated, but I'm not giving her a dirty look. I'm not yelling at anyone. I'm not actually being rude. I'm just irritated because I made this drink. This will be the 4th time. And but I shouldn't have been visibly irritated. That's also on me.
Yeah, you need to control your face some more.
I mean,
How dare you?
Yeah.
For housewife. Have
Yeah,
all the
just
time.
smiling while making it. That might have been more frightening, honestly. But so I make the drink and pour it in there, top it off, top up the topping. I made, again, like 15 of exactly that Frappuccino. No one else complained.
In 5 minutes.
Not just like throughout the day, throughout my shift. And so he's busy, and he's also helping me on bar, because we're just the two of us. We're just like, it was that weird period where you only have like a few people before the next shift comes. It's that weird like intermediate period. And so he's helping me on bar, doing his job. And so I opened the window and I said, hey ma'am, just so you know, and this is how I said it. I wasn't like, hey idiot, this is a Frappuccino. I was like, hey ma'am, just so you know, this is called a Frappuccino. Just to be like, to help future employees not deal with her ass. I was like, just so you know, it's called a Frappuccino. And I handed it out to her like this, and she held it, she goes, thanks. And I was like, I'm just gonna shut the window and went back to work. And then she comes around in her car, parks in front of the building, busts in the door, yells, there's other people in the store, yells, this drink tastes like shit, and slams it on the counter. And at this point, I'm like dead inside. And so I'm here with like a cup. Oh, I was like,
Took you that long.
yeah. And I was like, with a cup, and I just went, and just kind of kept going. And I'm talking to her, and I was like, well, ma'am, if it tastes, and I said, is that not what you wanted? And she was like, it tastes like shit. And I was kind of like, you didn't even know what a Frappuccino was. How do you know what it tastes like? I didn't say that, obviously. But I was just like, well, ma'am, I can remake you a drink if you'd like. And she was like, no, I don't want you to make it. And I just went, and then kept drinking. And I was like, well, if I can't do anything, then fuck you. And so I was like, okay, she doesn't want me to make it. It is what it is. He's busy. She goes, I want to talk to your manager. And so I get on there and I was like, hey, Savannah. And she's like, oh, hey, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I have an angry customer out here. And she goes, why? And I was like, just please come out here. It's my fault. So she like comes up, she's like, hello. And the woman like goes on and she's like pointing at me like, she is horrible. And I'm just like, making a drink. And the guy is just kind of like what's happening? At last I heard we gave her a drink and she left. I didn't, what's going on. She's like, he is fine. She's horrible, talking about me. And I was just like, I don't know what to tell you. And she's like, well, I'd be happy to remake your drink. And so Savannah remakes her drink, gives her a new one, gives her one of those, like, it's like a sorry gift card, just being like, whoops. And after the woman finally leaves, she calls me horrible probably 20 times. Oh, here's the interaction. This is what got me written up. I skipped it. The juicy bit. And I did deserve it, although it's one of those things where, like, if I was going to get written up, I really wish I would have gone in on her. But then I might have lost my job.
No, it's a 3-strike policy.
Oh, really? That's true. Depending on what I say, if I was like, you can take that and shove it up your asshole, then I might have gotten fired. But it would have been a legend.
3-strike policy.
Yeah. It's fine, Taylor. Slap on the wrist. So she goes, do you, I can't even think. Oh, she said something, it was before Savannah came, and I skipped the good part. I asked her, I was like, she's like yelling at me. And so I go, ma'am, you've clearly never worked in customer service before. And she goes, yes, I have. And I said, where? And she went, and just didn't respond. And I went, And it kept working, and that's when she yelled about wanting to see your manager. So because I pointed out that she like is a terrible human and doesn't know how to interact.
She was like trying to figure out a customer. And
Yeah.
Where would you have a customer?
I have never had a job in my life. But no, she came across as a dependopotamus or dependerella to me. That's like, because she was like not pretty. Maybe because she's so mean, I thought she was ugly. Just like ugly in general. And like, I don't know. She's one of those ones like, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but her kid's like 25 and doesn't live at home. But anyways, so yeah, that's the first one. This is where I called Justin, and I was like, hey, and he was in the back, and he's like, oh, what's up? And I was like, I'm gonna get a complaint right about it. And he was like, oh, what did you do? And so I told him the story, and he goes, Taylor, if you just kept your mouth shut, no, you couldn't have gotten in trouble because you didn't do anything until you like pointed out that she had never worked customer service before. And I was like, I know, Justin, but you know. It was like, oh my god. And I was like, he goes, I gotta tell Karen. And I was like, I know. And yep, and it got written up. It said, Karen, because you wrote me up. And I was just like, I was just gonna like let it go. That was because you were just like, I have to write you up, and I was like, I don't know, let me see it, I'll sign it. It was like on my day off. I came in and I was just saying what's up. I was just getting a coffee and saying hello.
Well, you also, like, you specifically asked to come and talk to me about it.
Yeah, also that. I was just like, I deserve it. This is what I said.
And then you're like, well, let's just do this now.
Yeah, let's get this over. I deserve it. And you're like, don't do that? And I was like, yeah. You're like, well, this is the easiest write-up I've ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, just give me that paper. So, that happened. Does anyone else have any story?
That's like the first time, and the only time I've ever been written up. I was 19, and it was my first like retail job. What?
She's ordering my.
She's ordering a
I'm ordering
dating nurse.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
3 minutes. I'm just kidding.
Actually, though, every customer.
So I've been like a lifeguard and swim instructor up until this point. And the way that works is when you're a lifeguard or you're a swim instructor, you're in charge. And so when you say, get out of my pool, they get out of the pool and they listen.
GTFO.
Yeah, they leave. And
I've done my shot.
so this is I'm working part-time. It's my first retail job. I finally figured out how to do like the registers and stuff. And
it's just for another.
Oh, if you want.
Sorry.
Yeah, right here. Like.
Oh, God.
Okay. I'm gonna zero in on everyone's shot face.
I don't want
Do it. Come on, Sammy.
Go.
Come on, Sammy.
Oh, I feel nauseous. Sorry.
Come on, Sammy.
It's fine.
Oh, don't let it like slowly go past your lips.
Oh, no.
You like this?
Oh, don't do it. Ew, don't sip it.
I hurt so badly.
Guys, it's not good vodka. It's like Burnett's or something.
UATD.
Oh, worse.
Ultraviolet.
Ooh.
It was Christmas time. It was probably like the week of Christmas. And we worked at a little tiny shop, and the line was literally to the door. So like 30 feet plus back. People were trying not to go out the door because it's cold outside. And so get through people, and I ring them up, and I wrap up all their stuff, and I put it in the bag, and hand them their receipt. You know, have a great day, whatever. Oh, you want gift receipts? Okay, here we go. So this lady comes through our thing, and she's standing at the register as I'm ringing up all her stuff, and I've wrapped up all her stuff. And we're about to do payment, and she turns around, and she grabs earrings off of a display behind her, and she turns back around and looks at them. And she looks at me, and she goes, I don't want these. And me being my 19-year-old self, and I'm just like, oh, well, common sense. If you got them from right behind you, and you didn't have to wander around the store, do you mind putting them back where you got them? I don't remember exactly what I said, but I wasn't like,
Can I help you out?
Can I assist you in putting those back, and then I'll walk you out the store? Yeah, no. I'm just like, oh, do you mind, putting those back for me since you're not going to get them? And she just like is so taken aback, and she's just like, oh my gosh. It's just like, how dare you? And I'm just like, I'm sorry.
Dare I what?
And I'm just like, I'm sorry. And she goes, you never ask a customer to put stuff back. And I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm so sorry that offended you. And I'm just like, all right, there's about 27 more people in line. Not a joke, not an exaggeration. And they all have about 27 items per person. Sorry, here's your receipt. And she goes, where's your manager?
Yeah.
Yeah, 27 cats. She probably has 27 cats. And so she goes off and storms off and finds a manager. And so we're doing our thing and we're finally getting a break. My manager goes over the headset and she's like, Rachel, I need to talk to you. Just like, oh, okay.
It's always the worst.
So she comes up to me. She's like, I don't mean to do this. And you're not a bad person, but we're going to have to write you up for asking a customer to put stuff back. And I'm just like, was I wrong? She goes, no, but for the sake of things.
Paperwork,
Just paperwork-wise. And I'm just like, okay. And so it was terrible. And then I got customer, or the employee of the month, so it worked out.
Oh.
Yeah, so my face was at the board. Yeah. And so if
I hope
she
that
came
woman
back,
came back in and was
she's
like,
just like,
yeah, she's asked people to put things back. Fucking terrorist.
it's true. It's true. I am a terrible, I really shouldn't be in customer service.
No one should. No one, like, when they're little, they're like, God, I hope I'm in customer service. I hope people just treat me like dog shit.
Well, I mean, like, my sister's, she loves people. She can attend to people. That's why she's becoming a nurse.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
love people at all. No, I want to talk about an issue I had recently at my new job. This guy, like, when I imitate him, this is exactly how it sounded. I'm not exaggerating. So this guy, I work for a company that provides like a service. There's so many plumbing
For
companies at the time.
customers?
Yeah. I work for a plumbing company as a dispatcher, so I take appointments and I send plumbers to that location.
Spelling.
Yeah. It's Burger King. So, anyways, this guy calls, and he's done this once before, which I found out after the fact. He calls, and he's like we send our plumber to the location. He's like a really good plumber. He's very professional, polite. He's like intelligent. He knows what he's talking about. So we send him out there, and while the guy is still there, the plumber's literally still at that location. This guy calls us, and this is the tone of his voice. He's like, "Hi, I have an issue," and I was like, "Oh, okay, sir. What seems to be the problem?" And what our plumbers do, they call, like, when the service is done and the person's paid, they call us and like let us know. And if they pay by card, we have to type in the card information for them. And so this guy's like hasn't paid yet or anything. Like, as far as I know, our plumber's still on the job. He's still working. And so this guy calls and he's like, I have an issue, and if it doesn't resolve, I'm gonna go on Facebook and I'll write a review. And that's how he said it. And I was kind of like, I'm sorry, sir, what seems to be the issue? And he's like, well, I asked him to do this work, and he didn't do it. And so I pull up the ticket, and I was like the information, and I was like, oh, he didn't. And I said, oh, it shows that he's still at that location. He hasn't told us, like, he's done with the service yet. Would you like to talk to him about it? Because if he's still there, I'm sure he'd be happy to finish doing whatever he's supposed to be doing. Like, he hasn't left yet. So this guy goes, well, he did that, like the job he was supposed to do. He did that, but I need him to do this. And I said, okay, one moment, please. And he had issues. So this plumber had called, like, one of my coworkers and was, like, telling him about, like, yeah, this guy's, like, you know, he's, like, talking about the job and talking to him. And he's like, yeah, he seems to have an issue with, like, the pricing. He seems upset about something. And so I was like, hey, will you let him know that the guy at his location is, like, asking about him and wants something done? And I said, oh, well, the guy's still there. He's literally, like, he was, like, in the yard packing up. Like, he is literally packing his stuff up. And I was like, he's currently at that location. You can just talk to him if you'd like. Like, yeah, I'm sure he'd be happy to talk to you. It's no issue. So this guy goes, here's the thing. He basically, like, get to the point. He wanted our plumber to do this extra work for free for no reason. And because like our plumber performed the service, did everything correctly, got done in a reasonable amount of time, but this guy just wanted free service. So he said, if you don't do it, we're gonna have an issue, and I'm gonna go on Facebook and I'm gonna write a bad review. And he said it exactly like that. I wish I was exaggerating, and I was kind of like, ugh, ew. And I was like, well, sir, he's there now. He could do the service for you. And he was like, just heavily insinuating that he wants it done for free, or he'll write a bad review. And I said, and I just pointed that out to him. I said, so you want him to perform a free service, or you'll write a bad review? Just making it clear, like, you're threatening us with a false review. And he's like, yeah, you don't want that, do you? And I was like trying not to throw up. I was like so skeeved out that this is how this guy is. This is a human being.
This is the one customer from our old workplace.
I wouldn't be surprised. And so at all.
No.
Oh God.
He's actually calling for a big phone.
Yeah. Oh God. Anyways, so like we talked to, so the guy, our plumber goes and talks to him, and we basically ended up doing this work for free. I like look him up. He has no social media presence at all, so he's no one. He's no one important. And I would understand if it was like a famous person being like, I'm gonna write a bad review. Then I'd be like, oh shit, like we should fix this. He is no one. Never, like you can't find him. That's how just small he is. And yeah. Yeah. Come at me. It baffles me, and I was like, people don't understand, if you are asking for a service like to be provided to you, like these people, that's their living. They have to pay bills, they have to.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah, just don't be
That's
asshole.
the main moral of the story.
Oh, speaking of, to wrap things up,
We've got a list of handy ways to help you not be a dick.
we're each going to take turns reading off how not to be an asshole.
Giving
For
extra
customers.
tip doesn't make up for being rude.
Unless it's $100 or more.
Then it does.
In which case, you can treat me however you'd like.
Yeah,
As
you
long as
can
you
literally punch me in the face.
As
and you
long as
also
you don't
get
get
touched.
touched.
Yeah.
as long as I'm not touched.
Oh, no, you can hit me. Don't touch my butt. You can punch me in the face.
Oh, yeah.
$100 hit. Okay.
So, our first piece of advice is to remember that while you're out there, the cashiers and waiters and baristas and salespeople that you're interacting with are actual human beings. So you treat them like actual human beings because they are. So just like be nice. You know, golden rule, guys.
Yeah, the person providing service to you is most likely not the CEO. Undercover boss does not happen in real life. They usually have limited to no power over the cost or availability of items, food, or services.
Number 3, other people besides you exist, and other people matter just as much as you.
Which means not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 4, don't have unreasonable expectations. An example, if what you ordered takes 15 minutes, you're not going to get it in 10 minutes. You think that's a simple concept, but it isn't.
Number 5 is don't bully the staff or make threats to them. Don't yell at cashiers. Don't threaten to write bad reviews on Yelp or Facebook. Just because you're like mildly inconvenienced because you want to get something for free.
Control your spawn. Be a parent and watch your children. Your waitress is not a nanny. Your cashier is not your nanny. The dog at the front of the store is not the nanny. Like, do not let your children run around the store while somebody's helping you and pull everything off the shelf so that I have to go back through and put it back. It's not fun, and we will make sure to put that on your account next time you come in that you're a bad customer.
Yep.
Give the company or business a chance to correct their mistake if they actually made one. Because usually, they will actually make an effort to try and remediate things.
Like fix it themselves.
Yeah, for instance, the little store credit card.
Respect the rules. If a coupon's expired, it's expired. Like, and sometimes the thing is, if you're polite, they'll still be like, you know what, like we'll just go ahead and take that 10% off or whatever. But if you're coming in like guns blazing with an attitude, they're not. There's no reason to. So just if there are rules, them's the rules. I don't know what to tell you.
Number 9, is understand and abide by tipping protocols. Good, you can't be like, well, I can't afford to tip them. If you can't afford to give a reasonable tip, then you can't afford to go out to eat because that's part of like the budget. So, and the last one is just say please and thank you, because manners go a long way. If you're nice, you'd be surprised at how much extra effort the people will go through to help you. And if you're mean, it kind of just shuts people down. So, like, golden rule, elementary school. Treat people the way you want to be treated.
Elementary. Awesome.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for joining us. I'm Taylor.
I'm Sammy.
Oh, I'm a guest.
I am also a guest.
And this is Les and a Half in our No Pants podcast.
Thanks for listening.
Okay.
Or watching.
Was I supposed to know?
Yes.
Bye. What?
You're not wearing pants. They don't know.
No.
So
No, there's no
that's
pants. That's
Everyone give an awkward bye.
Bye.
Bye.